are aboard. Humans and elites. Will you not come with us, brother? No. This is our fight. And I will see it finished.
Johnson, do you have the frigate?
Yes, ma'am. I'll land her as close to the control room as I can.
Safe is better than close, Sergeant Major.
Roger that. Ma'am, it's good to have you back.
Halo. It's so new, unfinished. I'm not exactly sure what will happen when we fire it.
We'll head for the portal, and we'll all go home.
Kind of feels like every Pelican in this game crashes, doesn't it? Welcome back to Let's Play Halo 3 for the final episode of the trilogy. Immediately, you want to turn around there's some shotguns and battle rifles. The default start is a full rocket launcher and assault rifle, which honestly isn't a bad loadout. I just prefer to rock with the battle rifle for what's coming up next. Arbiter is with us, one of the few levels in the game where Arbiter is with you from beginning to end. He's rocking his dual plasma rifle energy sword setup, so he's going to be quite potent on this level. We're going to be relying on him a lot for sure. Not really much to say in this part, so I'll just be quiet, let you soak in the atmosphere of the end.
Did you think we defeated?
Flood dispersal pods. Control room's at the top of that tower, Chief. Go!
Alright, so starting off here, this first wave has a lot of unshielded combat forms, so the battle rifle wreaks havoc, but that's not going to be the case for very long. Eventually some elite combat forms with energy shields are going to start showing up. And that is what the rocket launcher is for, at least in my case. Arbiter helps a lot here, he just outputs a ton of damage. Besides brute forms with brute shots and, you know, the usual elite combat forms with energy shields, the most dangerous combat forms are actually, surprisingly, the human combat forms with assault rifles. They can really do a lot of damage. Yeah. Like, I got tagged briefly there and I lost half my shields. Don't underestimate the combat forms with assault rifles. They can be very deadly to you. You really don't want to be in close with them. That first brute who spawns near you with the gravity hammer, he always spawns, so you can grab a free gravity hammer if you want. On this level, it's less than helpful just because there's a lot more flood with a lot more ranged weapons in this level, so I prefer, as far as power weapons go, I prefer the rocket launcher. Speaking of power weapons, strewn about here there are, I believe, 2 rocket launchers and 2 fuel rods. I'll be picking up one of each at some point for ammo. Or wait, excuse me, there's 2 fuel rods and 1 rocket launcher. It's a little hard to see. Oh, real quick, something I've neglected to mention. 1 brute shot round to an unshielded combat form is actually enough damage to instantly kill it. Okay, so it might be a little hard to see, but in the top right corner there, you can see a Flood Stalker climbing up the pillar. That is one of the few infinite spawns in the Halo series. Flood Stalkers will infinitely spawn in that pit and climb up the pillar.
There should be ramps that lead to the top. Check the other side.
they're more set dressing than anything else. Just don't mess with them, and they won't mess with you. If you do mess with them, there's a chance they can drop down and then shift into a ranged pure form, which you don't want. I mean, you saw the last level, presumably, if you're here. Speaking of the last level, we see a pretty good example there of a brute shot being kind of a discount energy sword, but yeah. There's a lot of power weapons in this level. I pick up the fuel rod and the rocket launcher. Some people don't actually like the first half of this level. They say it's a little slow pace. There's not a lot going on. Oh, be careful coming up here, because some combat forms will jump down from the ledge in addition to the usual flood dispersal pods. A little pro tip, when you have like a power weapon like a rocket launcher or a fuel rod gun, usually you aim at the enemy's feet, so the splash damage kills them and they can't dodge. For whatever reason, flood combat forms are really bad at dodging projectiles in the air. Maybe it's like something with how the Gravemind controls them or something. But you want to aim the full projectile at the flood combat form. I don't have all the spawns memorized, but basically, just keep your head on a swivel, because, whenever you make any kind of progress, Flood are going to spawn. They can spawn in front of you, they can spawn behind you. Basically, take it slow. The worst thing you can do is get caught between two different Flood combat form spawns, and I will say, once you start getting onto the control room structure, the pyramid, checkpoints start to get kind of few and far between, so you want to try not to die. Yeah, try not to do that. And just as kind of an example of how far back you have to go sometimes in this level. Yeah, all the way back here. It was like 5 minutes ago. But I'm not going to make you sit through that. Here we are back on the pyramid. The problem that I was having, I was being too conservative there. They give you a ton of power weapons, just go crazy. Especially when they're all clumped up like that, no reason not to. And as you saw, there's a flamethrower up here. You want to take this flamethrower and take it all the way to the top of the pyramid, basically. It might be a little tedious, but you definitely want to do it. It'll pay off later. And obviously you have some sentinels helping you out here, so that helps, of course. But yeah, the flamethrower is pretty bad against combat forms, so don't even bother at this point. The reason that I have the assault rifle here is because the assault rifle actually has deceptively good range, and there's a range form at the end of this platform, so I wasn't sure if I could get to him with the flamethrower, but, luckily, it worked out. That stalker ran right into the fire. Nobody even killed him, he killed himself. Yeah, see, this is what I mean about the flood spawns. Like, all those guys just spawned right in behind us.
I got you covered, Chief. Meet you at the top of that tower.
Like, there were some in front of us, too, but luckily the Sentinels did a pretty good job. And around this time, Sergeant Johnson comes in with a infinite ammo Spartan laser that he helps to take out Flood for you. Although, I've had it happen to me where he accidentally blows me up, so kind of try not to get in his way too much.
I got your back.
Oh, by the way, you know how the last level was all about destroying the down bodies of combat forms? In this level, you actually don't have to do that because not a single infection form... Not a single infection form or carrier form spawns in the first part of this level. There aren't any natural infection forms or carrier forms, and tank forms are kind of rare. I mean, I'm sure they could spit out infection forms, but I've never really seen it happen, so yeah, you don't really have to worry about meleeing... Thank you, Johnson. You don't really have to worry about punching down bodies because there aren't any infection forms to res them, so just kind of, you know, just keep pushing up, slowly but steadily. Now, of course, the flamethrower is great for taking out the occasional range form or tank form that you encounter while climbing up, but that's not the main reason that you're carrying it up. You'll see why that is. Frag grenades really shine here because the Flood love to bunch up, or like they spawn from the dispersal pods all bunched up, so frag grenades can honestly be about as deadly to the combat forms as a rocket from a rocket launcher. Get a lot of nice multi-kills in this level. This little stretch right here is probably the most dangerous stretch because you got like a ton of combat forms, and then you have a bunch of range forms that take up a sniping position at the end. And Arbiter even died there. We haven't seen that in a while. But, you know, once again, any level that you have Arbiter, if you want to cheese it, you can just kind of have him kill everything for you and hang back if you just want to beat the level. I will say the par score of this level is 25,000, which is pretty steep, and there aren't enough enemies in the level itself to get that, so you do kind of need to get some kind of time bonus in order to clear that par score, so you do need to be a little fast.
Spark, you in there? Open the damn door.
Of course, Wrigley. Just as soon as you dispose of all proximate blood prints. I'm afraid contamination protocols do not allow for...
Yeah, I hear you.
Now, that equipment
Was
that I just
the
used...
monitor? You didn't tell me he was here. Well, we are finally doing what he wanted.
That equipment that I just used, those are auto sentries. Those are they're basically portable sentinels, so it's like spawning in 2 additional sentinels to help you out, because the sentinels that are already die pretty quickly. They don't withstand this Flood onslaught for long. As the dialogue was saying, this is a Halo 2 style holdout against the Flood for a period of time. Oops. That's embarrassing. This part can definitely be a little tricky. The second wave, well, the first wave is just a bunch of combat forms, but the second wave is a bunch of pure forms. This is why you brought the flamethrower. It makes taking out that second wave of pure forms very easy. Almost die here several times. This part can definitely get hairy, and on Legendary, your Sentinels won't last long. Yeah, I almost, if I was a little bit closer to the left, I would have died there, because that shotgun would have killed me.
Fleets of thousands consume the galaxy of flesh and mind and bone.
So after the Gravemind says that, that's how you know that that's the final wave. 2 dangerous things in the final wave. One is that brute combat form of the Mauler. You want to watch out for him, same as you would any Flood with a shotgun. Second, although he doesn't come up here, there is a Flood combat form that will either be a human combat form with a rocket launcher or an elite combat form with a fuel rod cannon. It's random, but I guess maybe he blew himself up, or the Sentinels took him out, or Johnson took him out or something, because he didn't show up. But yeah, that is probably the most difficult part of the mission. Honestly...
Open up! Ghost is clear.
Not for long. I'm tracking additional dispersal pods. They'll be hitting any minute.
Chief! Arbiter! Let's move!
Honestly, the actual, difficult part of the level is over now, so if you're just here for, a guide, you honestly can probably stop watching now, because the rest of this is more or less a victory lap. It's a lot of cinematic stuff, especially this part.
Do I take life or give it? Who is victim And who is foe?
It's trying to rebuild itself on this ring.
Hurry! Control room's close!
By the way, if you're not playing on Legendary, there is an invincibility equipment piece that you can find for that Flood holdout that'll help a lot if you're playing on, like, Heroic or something, for maybe the par score. Oh, by the way, before you come in here, if any of your auto-sentry equipment survive the battle, you'll want to blow it up before coming in here. That might seem strange, but I'll explain more why in the bonus footage. But, alright, there's a lot of plot and yapping coming up, so I will see you on the other side of it.
Yank me, Chief.
I'm not gonna lose her, too.
Oh, hello. Wonderful news. The installation is almost complete.
Terrific.
Yes, isn't it? I have begun my simulations. No promises, but initial results indicate this facility should be ready to fire in just a few more days.
We don't have a few more days.
But a premature firing will destroy the Ark.
Deal with it.
Will destroy this installation. Unacceptable! Unacceptable! Absolutely unacceptable! Protocol dictates action! I see now that helping you was wrong! You are the child of my makers, inheritor of all they left behind. You are Forerunner. But this ring is mine. I take no pleasure in doing what must be done. You do not deserve this ring. I have kept it safe. It belongs to me.
Not for long. Kick his ass.
You cracked my pieces. Accept your marriage.
I'm getting you out of here.
No, you're not. No, don't let her go. Don't ever let her go. Send me out with a bang.
Chief, I'm so sorry.
I am sorry, Spartan. But come.
Alright, so no matter what weapons you had before, you will be stripped of everything, all equipment, all grenades, and you'll just have a assault rifle with 60 rounds in it. So basically, Arbiter is going to be doing most of the work in this part until you can start rocking a dual plasma rifle setup. And then you can start helping out as well. But like I said, this part is mostly a victory lap. It's pretty easy. I mean, if you've gotten this far, there's no way you'll have trouble with any of this stuff. Although, for the rest of the game, there are no more grenades and no more equipment to use. It's just you, the Arbiter, and your guns.
Even in death, your sergeant guides us home.
Dawn. Of course. The frigate. We still have a chance.
Probably not a surprise, but the Sentinels are now hostile to you and will try and kill you, but they're the least threatening they've ever been in Halo 3. And the dual plasma rifles just absolutely tear through them. The only thing to be careful of is, yeah, Flood with assault rifles still absolutely tear through your health and shields.
Find the doorway in the cliffs, Chief. The Dawn is on the other side.
One strategy you can do, as you can see, there's a very limited pool of guns available in this part, so one thing you can do is you can leave a bunch of good guns around from the holdout section and then pick them up, but, you know, honestly, I feel like dual plasma rifles is probably best, because it deals with both the Flood combat forms and the Sentinels pretty well. I guess this indoor section is the only kind of hard part remaining, because there's a lot of Flood and Sentinels, but they're mostly focused on each other, not necessarily you.
Like water I am. Defeat is simply the addition of time to a sentence I never deserved. But you imposed.
Right, now this, believe it or not, you're done with combat forms. All that's left are some carriers and some infection forms, and then that's it. I don't know why I'm being so... Thank you, Arbiter. Thank you for almost killing me. Guess there's still some unresolved animosity. I was just using the Sentinel beam just to kind of test it out. I guess...
Don't
yeah,
let this ring be the end of us, Chief.
It's not really great in this part. I'd probably prefer the dual plasma rifles, but, you know, it hardly matters what you use here. Be careful going up this ledge, because right before the end, there's one more surprise of infection form swarm. And that's the last on-foot shootout of the trilogy.
There, Johnson's Warthog. Come on, Spartan, go, go, go!
All right. So, probably not a surprise, but just like in Halo 1, this is mostly cinematic, so I won't really have too much to say here. One thing I do want to point out is this part is all about control. If you ever find yourself going too fast, you can hit the A button, it hits the brakes, it lets you get control of your speed, it lets you get control of yourself, your vehicle, if you're flying through the air. Just a very useful tip to keep in mind. It'll stop you from getting flipped over. Let's see, any more quick tips that I have before I let you just soak in this part? Oh yeah, checkpoints are really few and far between here. You basically only get checkpoints on these sort of floating structures. Don't crash into any carrier forms. Be careful of Sentinels. Anything that can flip your vehicle. You are on kind of a soft time limit here. If you take too long in any one section, the level is constantly collapsing behind you. So if you take too long, you'll be dead. But if you've made it this far, this probably shouldn't give you too much trouble. You see there how I decreased my speed before going onto this ramp, because if you're out of control, you can easily go careening off the side. And just keep an eye on where those fire geysers come, because that's where sections of the floor are falling off. Watch out for that guy with the brute shot. I'll just kind of rote stuff, but you know, it can be maybe hard to keep that in mind when you're trying to drive out of here as fast as you can. When you get to ramps like these, you want to take the right side usually, because the sentinels tend to concentrate in the middle and on the left. And you know, my Warthog was going to flip over, but I hit the A button just in time to save it from being flipped over, so just a useful tip to keep in mind.
Charging sequence at 30%. 50%, Chief.
This spot is kind of annoying because the stupid range forms actually fire fast enough to mess with your vehicle, but it shouldn't be too hard to kind of finagle your way through. It's still kind of annoying though. If enough of them are shooting at you at once, they can actually completely stop your Warthog in place. It's kind of fun. And that's why you want to avoid the ramps. Probably don't need to tell you this, but you want to take the lower path here. You do not want to be up with those fuel rod guys. They have surprisingly good aim. Alright, here is the final run. Last part.
80% charged.
I use the brake there to get back control of my vehicle. It's a really useful tip that I wish I had known, because you know, on my first playthrough, this was like supposed to be a big epic playthrough, but I kept dying. I kept losing control of my Warthog. This part can be deceptively difficult. Alright, nothing else more to say, really. I will let you
90% firing sequence initiated.
enjoy the beautiful skybox, the beautiful music, and the beautiful ending. See you on the other side.
Got it, Chief! Jump! Floor it! Right into the hangar! Hang on!
make it.
It's been an honor serving with you, John.
But alright. Definitely pretty easy level overall. You do have to be kind of fast to get the par score because there aren't actually enough enemies in the level to get you your 25,000, but, you know, like I said, the level is basically over after that flood holdout section with Johnson and the auto sentries. So, I didn't mention this earlier, but the auto sentries, they will actually turn hostile along with the rest of the sentinels, and they can output a very large amount of damage very quickly, so you really don't want to deal with them when you're in like that reduced state with no grenades and no good weapons at the end of the level there. But, you know, just destroy them before going inside the building and it should be fine. I'll have some bonus footage demonstrating that. We have the actual ending coming up, and then there's the credits that I put in, as usual, and stick around because there's a post-credits scene, and then also an ending that you get, like a special extended post-credits scene that you get if you beat the game on Legendary that I have to show you. And then from there, the rest of the video is bonus footage, so, you know, if you're someone who just wants to experience the story, just stick around after the credits, either way. During the credits, I'll give more of my thoughts, my more complete thoughts about the game, and maybe some thoughts about its story. I've been thinking about maybe making like a video essay about Halo 3's story, but I can at least kind of touch on some points during the credits, because they are kind of long. But that's all I have to say for now. The actual ending of the game is coming up. It's a pretty good one, so I will leave you to it.
For us, the storm has passed. The war is over. But let us never forget those who journeyed into the howling dark and did not return. For their decision required courage beyond measure, sacrifice, and unshakable conviction that their fight, our fight, was elsewhere. As we start to rebuild, this hillside will remain barren, a memorial to heroes fallen. They ennobled all of us, and they shall not be forgotten.
Present! Up!
I remember how this war started, what your kind did to mine. I can't forgive you, but you have my thanks for standing by him to the end. Hard to believe he's dead.
Were it so easy. Things look different without the Prophet's lies clouding my vision. I would like to see our own world, to know that it is safe. Fear not, for we have made it so. By your word, Arbiter. Take us home.
So, as usual, I have to edit these credits in. I'll make sure to credit the person who did it in the video description this time. I realize I forgot. I was making ODST. I don't know, it feels extra disrespectful this time not to have the credits in after that, but, oh well, I don't really want to get bogged down by that too much. Let's start with the gameplay. Just speaking purely campaign-wise, I think Halo 3 has the strongest gameplay loop of the trilogy. There's very, very little dull downtime. It has a lot fewer of Halo 2's, like, forced holdout sections, cut out all of Halo 1's like constant repeating geography that even by the end of the game, even as a Halo 1 apologist, campaign apologist, I have to admit it did get pretty tedious around the time of 2 Betrayals. To be going through those same Forerunner hallways over and over and over again. I think the equipment was a good addition that really, this is more for the multiplayer, but it really added a lot to the game without being, you know, too intrusive and like too game warping like the equipment or the armor abilities in Reach, but I'll get more to Reach when we actually play Reach, you know. I think personally this is my favorite soundtrack of the original trilogy, but you know, all 3 games have amazing soundtracks and ODST does as well, but you know, that just comes down to personal preference. I mean, Halo 3 has amazing gameplay. It's not really... I guess, I would say vehicle combat is probably, I was gonna say it's the least fun that it's ever been, but I'm remembering the Halo 1 tank, so maybe not. And Halo 2 had a bad habit of spawning Banshees behind you, but then again, this game spawns, like, choppers behind you all the time, so... I'd say vehicle combat is probably the weakest aspect of this game for sure. It's kind of why I don't really like Sabo Highway that much. The Ark has enough going on, but that middle portion before you get the tank, like after you get past the initial cave, that does kind of drag a little bit. There's some like weapons that are maybe like you know, they just kind of exist. Like the spike grenade doesn't really, I feel like, distinguish itself enough from the plasma grenade. Flame grenades are cool though. I love flame grenades. Especially in a ODST, but that's neither here nor there. I guess spike grenades are kind of an anti-vehicle grenade, but that doesn't really come up too much in campaign. The spiker is just kind of there. Mauler is just kind of there. Like, a lot of the brute weapons are just kind of there. They feel kind of like filler weapons in a way that, like, the previously existing weapons don't necessarily. But, whatever. Anyway, the main thing to talk about is the story. A lot of people think Halo 3 is a step down from Halo 1 and 2 in the story because this game was it had a very troubled development, and they really wanted to wrap things up quickly. And that does show, and I do agree to a certain extent. Let me just say, I think the way that the Guilty Spark stuff and Johnson's death were handled was just terrible. You know, no disagreement there. I won't even try to defend that. I don't mind Johnson dying necessarily, but getting killed by Guilty Spark, just randomly sparking out, I guess, yeah, not great. Feels very underwhelming. You know, Cortana has a line about how the Gravemind was, like, rebuilding itself on the ring. I kind of wish we got to actually fight the Gravemind, like, maybe it took control of Guilty Spark. I don't know. Anything would have been better than the final boss, quote, big, massive quotation marks that we got. Moving from areas I completely agree with, let me move to a more, like, neutral topic. I will say the Prophet of Truth. A lot of people have a problem with Truth's motivation. And I will say it's a little vague, but I do think a lot of it comes from the change in voice actor. I think if he still had the same voice actor that he had in Halo 2, a lot of those complaints would disappear. I don't blame Halo 3 for this, like, genuinely... Okay, let's look at Truth at the end of Halo 2. He's coming to Earth to activate the Ark. A Gravemind is taking control of all of High Charity. What did you want Truth's plan to be exactly? Like, what else is there for him to do? If we look at 343 lore, his big plan was that he had the rest of the San Shayum, the prophets, he had them in a shield world that he just happened to know about, And then his plan was to win on the Ark, and then the San Shayum would come and break the stalemate on the Ark, and then they would repopulate the universe. I mean, I guess it is an explanation for, like, his big plan, but it's kind of... I'm yawning just thinking about it, honestly. That seems very generic. Halo under 343 has a problem with very, very generic villain motivations, and it's like, oh, he had a... And, you know, Shield worlds being freaking everywhere in 343 Halo is very cheap. We'll get into some headcanon here, but I think if they had leaned maybe more into Truth being kind of trapped, his political maneuvering had trapped him in an inescapable situation, that could have been an interesting angle. I won't dispute that Truth is overly vague in this game with, like, how much he actually believes in the Great Journey and what his actual thoughts are. By the time we actually confront him, he's been half infected and driven half mad, so it's not like the real Truth, so it's hard to get a read, etc. Don't think I'll have enough time to get all my thoughts in without, you know, horning in on the rest of the ending, so maybe I'll make a video giving my full thoughts later. TLDR, or TLDW, I think Halo 3's story is perhaps overhated for reasons it shouldn't be. Although I wouldn't blame you for not being convinced by that kind of rushed explanation over the credits. Oh well. Food for thought, maybe something I'll discuss later. For now, enjoy the rest of the ending.
Chief? Can you hear me? I thought I'd lost you too.
What happened?
I'm not sure. When Halo fired, it shook itself to pieces. Did a number on the Ark. The portal couldn't sustain itself. We made it through just as it collapsed. Well, some of us made it. You did it. Truth and the Covenant, the Flood, it's finished.
It's finished.
I'll drop a beacon, but it'll be a while before anyone finds us. Years, even. I'll miss you.
Wake me when you need me.
And that is Halo 3. The rest of this is just bonus footage. So you might remember that
Where are you going?
I said there were 7 terminals. When you hear Cortana saying that, ironically, that means you're going in the right direction. Careful, to the right there, there's
Wait, what's that?
instant death pit drop-off there. But alright. Just the single terminal in this level. The reason I paused here is because Cortana has another line of dialogue where she says, "How many of these have you found?" or something like that. And for some reason it wasn't triggering, but here you go. I asked some viewers which method they preferred, and they said they preferred for me to let people read at their own pace, so, you know, as usual, you have this first set of screens, you kind of have to pause to read, and then you'll have a second set of screens if you're playing on easy, normal, and heroic, and then there's one more set of screens if you play on legendary difficulty, as per, you know, all standard stuff. No special, you have to play on every single difficulty to get all the screens this time, or anything silly like that. I think that, you know, "you were not worthy, not yet" screen is your hint
Even
that
in death,
all of these terminals
Sergeant
have little extra lore pages for you to read on higher difficulties.
The frigate! We still have a chance!
But on normal, I just wanted to show you how devastating these stupid auto-sentries can be, even on a normal difficulty. It's pretty absurd. That's definitely why you want to take care of them before coming out here. While we wait for the legendary terminal to load up, a funny little note I wanted to make: the trigger for the auto-sentries turning against you is actually, it's not killing Guilty Spark, it's actually the final grade mine moment is the trigger. Kind of a little programming workaround when you, if you set down an auto-sentry in the building after the grade mine moment where he goes, "Do I take life or give it? Who is victim and who is foe?" If you set down an auto-sentry after that, it'll be hostile and it'll shoot at you. That's actually something I discovered on my own. But alright, that is all the lore taken care of. And, yeah, if you're just here for the story, that's probably a good stopping point. But, a quick little thing, if you look in here, that room might look a little familiar for any Halo 1 aficionados. If you want to make the Guilty Spark boss fight even easier, you can take in a bubble shield, actually. if you, like, for whatever reason, you want to trivialize it, like, even more. It's very funny. Finish things off with the Lord of the Rings reference there. And then here we have a pretty cool skybox I didn't get the chance to show off. You can see the remains of High Charity there. That's pretty neat, I think. And after that, one final Easter egg is all that remains. You might remember the thirsty grunt from the Warthog Run in Halo 1. To the surprise of nobody, there is a second one. We call this guy the Jerk Store Grunt for reasons that will become obvious pretty quickly. He's right at the end of the level. To find him, you just come up here by this kind of conspicuous-looking cliffside. You want to leave Arbiter behind the rocks. Come out. There he is.
Hey, Demon! The Jerk Store called, and they're all out of you! Who are you? Stolen at the age of 6 and conscripted into the military! Okay, look, you let me live. I got the fist of power. Look, I'll be the bottom. I'll polish your boots. I'll polish your helmet. It's the gas. When I'm on the gas, I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
Well, what else to say, but thanks for joining me for Halo 3, and I will see you all in Halo Reach! Alright, Arbiter, one more Easter egg and then we're finally done with the trilogy. You and me, but... Oh. Well, that's okay, I can just, Wait, I didn't mean to hit... Oh...